Wagwan. It's your boy LP Coach, and yes, we are back. Yeah, it's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. But hey, new setup. Don't worry, I got the old setup as well. But yeah, we've been working in the background, and I appreciate you guys subscribing, hitting up all the shorts. But now we get into the serious stuff as we build up towards the World Cup, as we come towards the end of the season. I'm gonna start giving you some more of what we're supposed to be giving you guys on the show. Today we got this Let's Talk Football, and we're just gonna talk about football, about the season has been going so far. We've got the crazy title race, the Champions League, and I want to talk about a bit more about Ballon d'Or. I want to talk a little bit about that, the players of the seasons, and focus on the young ballers that's been performing so far this season. And we're going to carry this on as we go along, and I'll be giving you guys some more long form content. But I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, sub, and subscribe, all of that good stuff as well, man. I appreciate you guys. But let's kick it off straight with the Premier League title race, because it's been a Mazzolini these last couple of weeks. Arsenal, they started off well, as some would say, performances wasn't the best. Last couple of weeks, it was topsy-turvy. They got draw against Wolves, draw against Brentford. Everyone thought, oh, it's down and out. Manchester City slowly on their heels. Pep Guardiola doing what he does best, signing players. But Arsenal, big win against Spurs over the weekend, and it looks like Arsenal now back into the ascendancy, back in control, man. Let us know what you think about the title race in the comments. Get engaging. Let us know what you think, man. But yeah, let's kick it off with Arsenal. Like, for me, obviously, Arsenal this season, personally, the performances haven't been the best, but they've been doing what they needed to do. Honestly, I do feel it's going to be a tough one for them. I do expect Manchester City to pick them to the line. But I want to talk about the situation. Arsenal fans, engage me on some of these things, because I want to focus on two players especially when it comes to Arsenal and their title challenge this season, and that's Lewis Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri. And we'll start off with Lewis Skelly. Hasn't hardly featured this season. Was a big part of Arsenal's season last season, even though they didn't win anything. But you saw performances of a high echelons against Real Madrid, and consistent performances in the Premier League. And yes, towards the back of the end of the season, he picked up a few red cards, ill discipline. Arteta maybe thought that maybe cost Arsenal in some of the competitions. It definitely did affect them. But this season, I wouldn't say been shone out, but 14 Premier League appearances, only 312 minutes though, 6 Champions League appearances, no goals, assists, 3 yellow cards, and an average of 6.1 per game. And I only think he's started 3 games this season in the Premier League. I think most of them appearances have come off the bench, and I think his last appearance was against Liverpool, where he came off in a 0-0 draw. But we haven't heard of Lewis Skelly this season, and for me, why I'm a bit shocked or surprised about that is because when you talk about Arsenal's performances this season, there's been a lot of criticism with the attacking line, with Noni, Eze, Gaio not stepping up maybe the course of the season. Over the last couple of weeks, they've kind of been doing their thing. But for me, in this period, I feel like in the way that Arsenal's been performing, I've been surprised that he hasn't started the youngsters or put them in to kind of shake it up, or make the senior players kind of wake up and say, yo, the young boys are on, we need to do our job and play well and set an example. So in this kind of phase where Arsenal hasn't been playing as well, I've been surprised that he hasn't got more minutes than he has this season. Arsenal fans, what do you think about that? When he's come on, his average this season is about 6.4. Like, his top speed, he's a really fast kid, you know. He runs at 31.9 kilometers, and he's done most of that in Europe, and he's had a pass completion of 82%. Maybe as a defender, some might say that's not probably the best. He's probably ranked in the top 40 in percentages in terms of fullback in touches, but in possession. So he's all right for a young player. And for me, when it comes to, especially when they add Ranieri into the situation as well, for me, what I thought was a bit interesting about this was, like I said, I'll move on to Ranieri a bit, but what will be a benefit to Lewis Skelly is that if Arsenal do end up going and win the title, I do think him being involved in that environment, him being involved in a team that goes on and win a title is going to play a big part for him. And I do believe, obviously, Arsenal is his preferred destination. I don't see him. There's no rumours of him leaving or going anywhere, as we saw with likes of Haven and Cheeto to Manchester United. So I think Arsenal are safe in that respect. But it's interesting to me because, in my personal opinion, I thought that maybe he should have got a few more minutes, be more involved in this Arsenal team, and maybe in that left back position as well. To be fair, Hendrick and Calafiori have been top draw. I think at the start of the season, some were saying Calafiori was probably one of the best left backs in the league. He had a bit of an injury. Hendrick has stepped in his place and done really well. So bearing that in mind, but I do think that he should have got a lot more opportunities in the Arsenal team. And when you flip it over to Ethan Nwaneri, who there was a lot of rumours in the summer that he might go to Manchester United, that he might go to Chelsea. Then he didn't start. Hasn't started a lot of games for Arsenal this season. Didn't look like he was involved in Arteta's plans. He then signed a new contract for Arsenal, which squashed all them rumours. And since then, he went on loan to Marseille, where he absolutely been balling out. He had four appearances. No, tell a lie. I think he had 4 appearances, and he got 1 goal so far for Marseille this season. But for me, what happened as well, what's his name, De Zerbi left, and since De Zerbi left, I don't think he's started in the team yet, and he's been in a little bit of a rotation mode. And for me, I feel like that again has probably been a disservice to Nwaneri, because he is definitely a type of player. When we talk about attacking in terms of Arsenal, because there's been a lot of debate, people saying that Arsenal's attack ain't been of an attack that you would expect of a team to go on and win the Premier League title. So for them to not have Nwaneri in that mix and have him in that shake-up of coming on and making a difference and having them magic moments, like as we saw a lot with Manchester United and Sir Alex Ferguson and then days, and the young players, they give you that enthusiasm, they give you that impetus, they come on the pitch, they give you that energy. And with what he done when he in his first game for Marseille, I know a lot of Arsenal fans were at the time, because Arsenal wasn't performing very well, was definitely disappointed that he went to Marseille and he wasn't getting more minutes into the team. And I feel like for him, especially when I spoke about Nwaneri and the impact that it will have been in the squad that goes on and win a title, I feel now with Marseille and how they are, and maybe the different structure that they come in with and how they're dealing with him, I definitely feel that it could be a bit of a hindrance for him, because I do feel it definitely now, if that situation does appear to be how it is and he doesn't get as much minutes as he is meant to, I would expect him to be a bit disappointed if Arsenal go on and win the league. He will still get a medal. That's one thing, because I think he's featured enough. Well, he's only had 1 appearance. I think you need 3. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. I think you need 3 or more appearances. I don't know if it's changed to get a medal if he ain't been involved. So, but it'll be a big disappointment for him as well as a young player if he does miss out on a Premier League medal, going to Marseille and not getting the minutes that he deserves, I would say. But again, that's just a little cadence in terms of Arsenal in their title race. They've got a big couple weeks ahead of themselves. They got Chelsea next, and they play Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, and then the big one on the 18th of April when they play Manchester City. And I think that game will be the deciding game. That game will be the game that will decide who will win the title. Because when we get to that point, when we look at Manchester City, moving on, nice little segue. But let us know what you think about the Arsenal situation and Ethan Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly. Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. But yeah, but when you look at Manchester City, good run of form, unbeaten in the last 5 games. Won their last game against Newcastle 2-1, and definitely hot on the heels of Arsenal. And the next 5 games leading up to them games to Arsenal, they have got Leeds, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, Chelsea, and then Arsenal. So you will definitely expect Manchester City to pick up points in their next 3 games. Which if Arsenal don't pick up a result against Chelsea, we could see Manchester City top of the league by the time that they play Arsenal. So going to be interesting to see how that one there plans out for Arsenal. And Manchester City and Pep Guardiola, he hasn't played no games this season. And I mean no games in terms of who he is and what he does in the transfer market. And he's gone out in January. He's bought Gay and he's bought Semenyo, two proven Premier League players. Gay, for me, probably arguably one of the best defenders in the league, and Semenyo this season is probably having the form of his career. So Pep Guardiola really doing what Pep Guardiola does. They haven't been performing the best. Haaland hasn't really been quite there, but definitely top. He is the top goal scorer in the league with 20 goals. He is a goal machine, and I always say he still is one of the best strikers in the world. And when you got one of the best strikers in the world, you have an opportunity to win any trophy that's available for you. So for me, that will always be an advantage for Manchester City in that respect. But let us know what you think in the comments, because for me, experience goes a long way, and that's going to count for Manchester City a lot. Pep Guardiola's done it before. We saw the record with their last 12 games when it comes to the points won, and Pep Guardiola has a really good record in terms when it comes towards the end of the season. He's got the players, he's got the experience, they've got the know-how. And for me, if I'm being honest, Manchester City will go on and pip Arsenal to win the title. But let me know what you think in the comments. I thought I'd just sneak that one in there. But yeah, I want to talk about a couple players that's been performing really, really well in the Premier League as well this season before we move and talk about other stuff in the Premier League. And let me know if there's any young players that I don't mention in this segment and you want me to talk about them, want me to do a little blueprint. If you don't know about the blueprint, go on my TikTok, dissect, and I'll talk about a lot of players. But I'm going to do that a lot more on here as well, especially leading up to the World Cup and after the World Cup, especially into next season as well. Don't forget to lock in as well, because we're giving away free boots. We might turn up to your local park, your local football addict session. We might just turn up somewhere in your shopping mall. We might even just turn up to your house and give you a free pair of boots. But you have to be locked in, you have to be engaging, and you have to be seeing what we're doing next. Blindfold kick-up challenge. A lot of people have been asking me for that video and waiting. Don't worry, we're locking in and we're going to be outside again, definitely before the end of the season. We're going to do that a few more times as well, and we're also going to be doing that throughout the World Cup. So make sure you're locked in and you're engaging. Let's go, buddy. But yeah, let's move on. I want to talk about the boy Lewis Miley for Newcastle. Hey, the kid has been absolutely outstanding this season. Box-to-box midfielder, picked up an injury last season, didn't start the season, worked his way in, and when he stepped in, boy, he's been an absolute revelation for Newcastle this season. Haven't been performing the best in the Premier League, struggling there in the Premier League right now. But when it comes to his overall performances, and especially in the Champions League, the kid's been outstanding this season. He's got 1 goal, 3 assists, and he's averaging about 7.18 per game, which is really good for a kid of his age and his stature. And for me, he's been the best player for Newcastle this season by a mile. Watermore, he had a decent start to the season. I'll say the goals started to dry up, but it looks like Eddie Howe's changed his position. He started to play in midfield. Eddie Howe likes to do that, don't he? He changed Joe Linton into a midfielder, and now he looks like he's trying to change Watermore. But Watermore is very neat on his feet. Very, very neat on his feet. But Newcastle, their performances in the league have been poor. One win in their last 5 games. They currently sit. Where did they sit at the table? I think they're on the bottom half of the table right now. Yeah, bottom half of the table. They sit 11th right now, 36 points. And they got a fight on their hands if they want to get into Europe. If they want to get into Europe, if we're looking at what we're 6th, 7th, and 8th, I think they're European spots right now. So if you're looking at 8th, well, they're a couple points off 8th, but they're 4 points off 7th. So I think, they have to be fighting for 7th Newcastle right now. They have to be getting to them Champions League spots. But Lewis Miley has been a big player for them, and it's going to be interesting in the argument when it comes to Newcastle and players like Lewis Miley. Because for me, yes, he's come through Newcastle's academy, and he's been shown that he's a Newcastle lad. But he definitely is a player. I don't know his contract situation. Let's even look at his contract situation, because for me, he is a player that I feel that a lot of clubs are going to be interested in him. A lot of clubs are going to be interested in this kid, yeah, And if Newcastle don't have him on a long contract, then 2029. So they got him on another 3-year contract. So definitely, if clubs are going to want to come in for him, they're going to have to spend some big bucks. But again, we're going into the 2026-2027 season. 2 years on a contract is not really a long time, and you don't want to be leaving players onto the last year of their contract. So this one's going to be interesting in terms of the development. I'm sure they got an extension in there. He only signed a contract last year, so, and his performances this season, he's definitely showing signs that he can perform at the highest level. And let's look at his what he's reported that he is on. And obviously, you never get the true facts of what they're really on. And he's roughly on £30,000 a week. £30,000 a week with 3 years left on his contract. Woo! That one there is a techie situation for Lewis Miley performances this season, because like he's currently in all of his duels, he's one of the top ranked duels in the league. He's also ranked 86% in terms of touches and goal for goals amongst midfielders this season. And he's averaging, literally, when it comes to grabbing an assist a game, we're talking about literally his performance against Crystal Palace in January. He was putting a rating of almost 8.5, 9 rating. So when you're looking at when you look at Lewis Miley in terms of his box-to-box midfielder, and he's a player, when you look at as well, another player also forgot to put him, I can't believe I forgot to put him, but we're going to speak about him, is O'Reilly at Manchester City. How am I skipping past Manchester City without talking about the absolute superstar? But for Lewis Miley, Newcastle definitely got a difficult situation on their hands, because it looks like Eddie Howe might not be staying there for a long time. And if he does get the sack, then it looks like Lewis Miley can definitely be up to grabs. And they've got a lot of PSR issues. Tonali was also rumoured to go to Manchester United. So he's definitely going to be one to look at for this season. A player that I want to talk about this season who's been doing really well is, and no one's really talking about him, people have been talking about him in the last couple of weeks. I think his performance against Everton, on Monday, really stood and showed what quality that this keeper is. Yes, and I'm talking about Semi Lemons. Signed for Manchester United this summer, £21 million from Antwerp, and there was a lot of question marks about this signing. We all know the debacle and Onana from last season. And Manchester United really needed to solve this problem at the back. And I think the biggest credit to Lemons is that no one's been talking about him. I think one of the biggest detriment to Onana last season, that everyone was talking about him, and it wasn't talking about it for the right reason. It was mistake after mistake after mistake. And please, someone let me know in the comments one mistake that Lemons has made this season. And yes, he's been here from the start. Everyone thought that he's going to need time to bed in. There might be little 1-2 mistakes in him, but no, he's been absolutely flawless where he comes. He collects crosses. I think his stats in terms of goal prevention is one of the best in the league. Starting to pick up clean sheets now, and even when Manchester United wasn't picking up clean sheets, if you go and you look at the goals conceded against Lemons conceded this season, 8 out of 10 of them have been absolute bangers. They've been definitely contenders for goal of the month. So I feel in that respect, and I do think the Manchester United defence have let him down a little bit, and there's obviously been a lot of chopping and changing with injuries and that. But with his performances alone and what he needs to do in terms of being commanding, being strong, winning them balls in the air, being crucial at the vital moments, because there's been a lot of games where he hasn't had much to do, and then when it's time to be called on, he's gone and done his thing. And that's what you want from a keeper. And I feel like, and I saw something today that Onana said that he wants to try and win back his spot at Manchester United. Brother, please leave us alone. Brother, please, yeah, leave us alone. I ain't gonna dive into that one too much, but Lemons has been absolutely outstanding this season and has probably been one of the signings of the season for £21 million, 23 years old. He can be a Manchester United legend. He can play for Manchester United for the next 10 years. But hey, we all know Real Madrid definitely like a keeper. And I do think he is a keeper that Real Madrid are definitely going to keep a close eye on. And I do think that's the only club that Manchester United can lose him to. But if Man United look after him from early, treat him good, keep him ambitious, and keep competing for titles, we can keep him for a very, 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 very long time. But hey, let's talk about the boy Kobbie, man. Talk about the boy Kobbie. Amarin, how can you do my boy Kobbie like that, man? How you do my boy Kobbie like that, Amarin, man? That was... do you know what? Yeah, and obviously everyone was getting on to me because I was not a big fan, but see me, I'm a back your manager type of fan. Yeah, whoever my manager is, I'm gonna back him to the hill. And what Ruben was doing with Kobbie, I was trying to find some sense of it. I was trying to find some clarity, and I was trying to work it out. But boy, since he has come back, he has proven Amarin absolutely wrong. I think he's put a dent in Amarin's career, to be quite frank, because the performances that this kid is performing, for Amarin to say what he said, I don't even want to repeat half of the stuff, but for Kobbie Mainoo not to be playing in the Manchester United team this season, it's been an absolute crime. We've seen the elegance, we've seen the touch, we've seen the rotations, we've seen the tight area elegance of him just picking up the ball, being able to turn out, play out wide, always be available, keep it neat, keep it sweet, dictate the game, create magic, like be a menace in that midfield. And what a talent, what a talent. There was a lot of rumours and a lot of suggestions that he might not go to the World Cup because obviously he's not playing. But Tuchel came out in an interview a couple of weeks ago saying that he's definitely in the plans. And boy, if that kid is not on the plane, if that kid is not on the plane, Amarin, you got big blood on your hands, because the kid has been absolutely outstanding in this season. He had a performance of 8.6 against Spurs. And I know against Everton it was a little bit slow, but you can just see the talent through and through when it comes to him. Yeah, and with Man United performing the way they're performing, I do expect Man United to get Champions League. And there is a big debate about if Man United are going to change, get the likes of Baleba, Walton, mix it up. Is Kobbie going to be involved in the plans? He has to be forefront. He has to be anything that Manchester United do. It has to be built around Kobbie Mainoo, and that has to be a fact. But let's talk about the boy Estavio. I can't let Estavio. At the start of the season, this kid was exciting. I can't let. At first, I doubted him. I didn't understand why he went to Chelsea. We all know, like, the Brazilian players, if they're top talents, they don't go to Chelsea, man. They go to Barca, they go to Real Madrid. But even to go to Chelsea, hey, it was a big move and a big decision. And he has, at the start of the season, definitely showing players signs that he's going to be an amazing player. And slowed down a little bit towards the second half of the season. And look, you should expect this coming. He's only young. What is he, 16? Sorry, what is he, only 16, 17 years old? No, 16, 17. What am I talking about? The kid's about 19. It's that, yeah. Yeah, 18. Sorry about that. I don't even know why it's not on my notes. But yeah, 18-year-old Estavio had a brilliant start to the season. Slowed down to start. I picked up a few injuries. I think there's been a lot of talk at Chelsea in terms of Chelsea managing their players in terms of their market value. I've spoken a lot about them, and I'm going to do a separate video about that, because one thing about me, I'm going to talk on for time and I want to get through these subjects today. But yeah, we're going to talk about that Chelsea model in terms of the medical staff keeping players in the background because they don't want to get them injured, and market value and all of that stuff there. So definitely going to see how he ends towards the end of the season, because for me, at the start of the season, he was a contender of Young Player of the Year, along with Lewis Smiley. And for me, Chelsea got a top prospect on their hands, a top talent. Obviously, there's the situation with Cole Palmer. Obviously, their model as well in terms of the recruitment. Chelsea, are they going to get Champions League? Are they not going to get Champions League? That's going to have a big weighing on their transfers and what they do next season. And what do Chelsea actually do next season? Are they going to buy experience? Are they going to continue getting young players? Are they going to block some of these pathways for the likes of Estavio? Are they going to get opportunities to play week in, week out? Let us know what you think in the comments about that one. Another Chelsea talent I want to talk about is Josh Achankong. Been featured a lot in Chelsea this season. A big prospect for them. For me, I've seen signs, but I do think with him as well, I do think he's going to be a player that Chelsea are trying to use right now to sell on. If I'm being totally honest, I don't think he will be a player that will play Champions League level. I might be proven wrong. I thought he has the ability and he has the quality, but sometimes in the defender, you can see like something in him if you can see that he's going to be a staunch. And look, a lot of the times you do get proven wrong in that aspect, yeah? Because John Stones was like that. I compare him a little bit to John Stones. Very good on the ball, can see a lot of potential. But John Stones did end up going to be one of the best players, but it took centre-backs. But it did take him a very long time to get there. And once he did get there, I think he only got about 2-3 years of John Stones at the very highest level, and then he kind of waned down. And I do think with Josh Achankong, I do think it might take him that little bit longer to reach that level. And I do think Chelsea might not have that patience. And with how he's performing now, I do think that might be a little bit of hindrance on his career, and he might go a little bit lower down and start his career somewhere else before he has to go and get back up to them heights again. But we'll see. We'll see. Another player I want to pick out in the EPL that's been performing really well this season is Matheus Marni. Yeah, we also in pop up against Manchester United and scored that goal. Manchester United have been also rumoured to be interested in him, and with Wolves and their performance this season sitting bottom of the league, it's going to be an interesting one for Wolves in terms of their ambition and what they want to do, because I feel like he's a Premier League player. He has to stay in the Premier League next season. They got it for free from Watchdale as a academy product. So I do think that's a player that they're going to make some money on next season. And definitely, who do you think he's going to go to? Because they've been interested. I don't think he's going to go Manchester United. I feel like sometimes when Manchester United's name comes up, it's definitely used for like agents using it to prop up their players for other clubs. I don't think he will go Manchester United, especially if Man United get Champions League. I don't think he should go Manchester United either. I thought like, he needs to be playing week in, week out. He's been playing week in, week out for Wolves. I don't think he should make that transfer and go to a club like Manchester United where he's going to be on the bench. I feel like a player like him, he needs to go to a mid-table club where he's going to get guaranteed minutes and he's going to play week in, week out, because I do think he's going to be a top talent. Obviously, we've got the likes of Chelsea and also Manchester City interested in him, but I don't think he should make that step so soon. And he could make that step and then go on loan to another club and develop that way. And I think that's also a good option as well. I don't think that will work out at Manchester United, but I can see him doing that at the likes of somewhere like Manchester City or Chelsea with the model that they got going. So yeah, I could see him at Strasbourg next season, to be fair. I could see him at Strasbourg next season. That's if they're in Europe. I do think he should be playing in Europe next season. Yeah, so that's some of the young ballers that I thought that was performing well this so far in the Premier League this season. Let me know if I missed out on a few. I'm obviously going to talk about them a lot more as we continue doing the long forms. Yeah, but a few young players, little debate in the comments. I want you guys before I end this little segment here today. Yeah, Jesse Derry, at Chelsea, Dowman at Arsenal, Max Dowman, and Rio Nangamora at Liverpool. The top three talents, a lot of people are saying, that are coming through. And we've got JJ Gabriel at Manchester United as well. How can I forget the young boy JJ Gabriel at Man United? I want you guys in the comments. We're going to talk about these guys more in the next segment. But what do you think? Obviously, Jesse Derry came on, made his debut for Arsenal, Chelsea in the FA Cup. Been moving absolutely outstanding in the PL2, 11 goals, 4 assists. Definitely been mashing. I scored a hat-trick as well for England in a fixture as well this season. Top talent there for Chelsea. He's kind of been one that's been talked about recently. We've heard the likes of Max Dowman at Arsenal, made his debut for Arsenal, I think it was last season or this season, in performance in the Champions League, has picked up an injury, has come back. Arsenal are taking their time with him, and we've seen Rigo Nangamora. We saw his performances only just this weekend against Nottingham Forest, and we saw him score that winner earlier on in the season against Newcastle. But let me know in the comments, who do you think out of them three is going to be the one that's going to come through the most? We're going to dive into their careers a bit more throughout the season. But yeah, man, that was a little Premier League one. I'm gonna do another long form one. I'm gonna dive into the young boarders that's been performing all right in Europe. I'm gonna talk about the Ballon d'Or. I'm going to talk about all of that stuff. So lock in, make sure you guys are watching, subscribing. Don't forget to comment as well and everything that I said. And lock in on all our other platforms. We are on TikTok, we are on Instagram also. So make sure you're following us on all our socials. And yeah.